Cool. Great. Welcome everyone to our online student tips and tricks webinar. We are so excited to have you joining us today. On behalf of the Office of Student Involvement, my name is Jay. I'm joined by my colleague Michaela, and we are here to help facilitate what we hope is going to be a really interesting panel for you as you get to meet and learn from your peers who are veteran students who have been at SNHU for a little while now and have a great sense of how to navigate this place, because online education is different than what many of us are accustomed to, being in a brick and mortar classroom. Before we jump into the panel, just a little bit of housekeeping I want to make sure that we cover before we jump into all of this. You'll notice that your microphones have been muted, and that's intentionally done to reduce background noise. If you do have questions, by all means, feel free to pop them into the chat. Both Michaela and I will be monitoring the chat throughout this conversation. That's an easy way to feed questions to our panelists. In addition to that, you'll notice that the chat box is open and it will remain so throughout the event. We'll do our best to get to everybody's questions. If we don't get to yours in particular, we'll do our best to follow up afterward, okay? This presentation is being recorded. If you do not feel comfortable being recorded, you're absolutely able to keep your camera off. You're also able to not type anything in the chat. There's no requirement to do either during this presentation, but please just be aware that the recording is happening. And if there are any technical concerns at any point, you are more than welcome. Drop it in the chat, or you can send an email to involvement@snu.edu, and we'll do our best to try and troubleshoot those problems. Okay? With that, let's see. Can I? Woohoo, look at that. It is super important to all of us at SNHU that you have access to all of the work that we are doing. And so if you attend any of our presentations, our programs, and the format, the way in which it is being presented is not working for you, we need you to know how you can share that out with us so that we can better support you in the future. Note the Online Accessibility Center is accessible to each and every one of you. Their email and their phone number are both listed here. And we just ask for a little bit of notice so that we can make sure that we are getting the supports in place as soon as possible for you. Okay. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I want you to see our three absolutely fabulous panelists who are going to be talking to you today. And that is Liv, that is Loren, and if I can find him in my list of people here, there he is. I've got Brian as well. And so I'm going to ask that each and every one of them please just introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about who they are, what they're studying, and where they're from. And we'll go from there. Okay. So Liv, I think, is our veteran here. Why don't you kick us off?
Hi, everybody. My name is Livia Ward. I've been at SNHU for about 3 years. I don't know. I think Lorraine might have more than me. I'm actually not sure. So I'm originally from Europe. I was born in Romania and grew up in Italy. I moved to the US about 5 years ago, and I'm currently in Yuma, Arizona, in the middle of nowhere. But I'm very grateful because it's very warm around here right now, so I'm enjoying the weather very much compared to the rest of the US right now. In my free time, I enjoy arts and crafts. I enjoy outdoorsy stuff. I enjoy traveling. And right now, my newest passion is my new dog. I got obsessed. Um, I've been at SNHU for about 3 years, and I'm studying cybersecurity with a minor in IT and a concentration in data analytics, which I very much love. And actually, I just got an internship yesterday. I'm starting today. pass it down to Lauren then.
Hi, I am Loren. I am studying psychology here. I am graduating this May. This is my fourth year at SNHU. I live in Maine, so unlike Liv, I am freezing my butt off up here, in New England. So I do love when she shares her warm weather stories. They're fantastic. Um, I have three kids. I volunteer with my local rec community and coach youth cheerleading and direct youth plays. I dabble in theater photography. I am a member of Jay's amazing Student Engagement Council. I'm also the president of the Paranormal Research Club, and I participate on the new Club Recognition Committee. So I am very, very much involved in the clubs here at SNHU, and I am always willing to talk to students that are interested.
Good to go. All right. I'm Brian. I'm from Southern California. Uh, I am originally from Nicaragua. I'm a first generation here. My mom came over here when she was 30 and had me 6 months later. So I was technically made in Nicaragua. Um, but yeah, I've been here my whole life. I don't look like it, but I am fluent in Spanish. I am happily engaged. We're going on year two of engagement of a 15-year relationship. So we started off young. I was 19, she was 21. She was my cougar. But yeah, so we took our time. It's been a while. We grew up together, kids to now we're adults and we're could never be more in love. We don't have any kids yet. We do have a Frenchie who is literally our life. He's feel we it's sad to say, but we feel like he's filled a hole that we never knew we had. He's just the biggest troublemaker, the biggest cuddle bug, everything we could have ever wanted. So yeah, he's great. I'm an operations supervisor. I work in manufacturing, specifically machining. It's an aerospace machining company. I also own a small business. That's a janitorial business I started back during COVID when cleaning and disinfecting sanitation was a thing. And it's been going 6 years strong now. So that's a big accomplishment for me, what I like to do is I love leadership. I love continuous improvement, learning, absorbing everything. I went to college right when I graduated high school for 2 years, and then I became 21 and started partying. And I lost track of school. It was one of my biggest regrets. If I could ever go back, I would not, right? I would continue school and see the importance of it. Now I'm at a point in my life where I see how important it is. So I've been at SNHU for about a year and a half, and I should be graduating in August. So something I never thought I was ever going to go back and do. And thanks to SNHU, it's going to be a dream come true. So yeah, that's basically who I am. I love to volunteer. I actually just started it's not quite a nonprofit, but it's a community group here in Ontario, and we're doing local trash cleanups. So just hoping that grows up and then eventually we get I think it's a 401(b)(3) nonprofit, and see what happens from there.
Brian, that is a perfect segue into the first question that I have for you, but I'm going to put a pin in that real quick and just tell the audience this is your panel of experts. And so if you have specific questions for our three student leaders, drop them in the chat, please. I've got some canned questions ready to go to kind of prime them. But at any point, drop them in there. Michaela or I will pluck them out and feed them to our panelists. Seeing that there aren't any questions immediately in the chat, I'm going to ask the group, what do you do outside of school? What are some of your extracurricular involvements or your community involvements that help keep you busy?
Well, I guess I'll go if we're keeping the order from before. So in my free time, other than school, I enjoy volunteering as well. I always volunteer at the local shelters and I foster dogs most of the time. That's my favorite thing to do because before last year I could not have dogs, so I love them very much. I wanted to have a chance to spend time with them, so I decided to start volunteering and fostering. Other than my academic journey at SNHU, I'm also involved in many organizations and clubs that take a lot of my free time, and I enjoy spending that time in those organizations. So, as Jay mentioned, I am a member of the Student Engagement Council. I am the president of the Multicultural STEM Club. I am the secretary of the Cyber Snoopers Club, and I'm the co-founder of the Wired Minds Robotics Group, which meets every week. So it takes quite a lot of my free time. And in life, as I said, I just got an internship, so that's definitely something new to add to my schedule now. So definitely gonna have to reorganize all my calendars now. Um, and I enjoy, again, spending time with my family. It's very important for me to balance both my personal life and my professional life in a way that allows me to enjoy both at full. I'll pass it to Lauren.
Well, I kind of already answered that earlier, but I coach cheerleading for the rec center of my community, and I've also coached a little bit of t-ball and rookies baseball, and I work with kids. Um, well, thanks, Liv. Liv's a crazy rock star. I don't know how she does it all.
Loren, let me ask you, because you did kind of give us a bit of your extracurricular resume. Why are you involved? And what's the benefit?
Oh, well, I really like kids and I like working with my local community. Um, and it's been nice. And I get to see all these kids grow up because I live in a small community. So I've been coaching cheerleading since 2012. So some of the original cheerleaders I have gotten married and they have kids of their, it's crazy. It blows my mind and it's fantastic and very, very rewarding. Um, so I mean, if you can get involved with your local community, it's super fantastic. I just can't even describe getting to like see them at community events and stuff like that. And sometimes I like kids better than I like adults, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So, how about you, Brian?
That was awesome. Totally agree. I feel like sometimes even adults are kids. So that's my biggest challenge at work, dealing with 50, 40-year-old, 5-year-olds, you know. So for me, kind of said it. So I'm a part of SEC. I just joined. I think it's been about 3 months I've been a part of the group. I am a part of the SNHUconnect, otherwise known as Inscribe. So I kind of join all of those chats. I'm in the Paranormal Research Club. I'm in student engagement, new students. Just kind of joined a bunch of them. I think there's a community service one. There's one that's fun and people post pictures of I think it's our time with our dogs. I forget the name of the club, but you just post photos with your dogs. So I kind of like to get involved with all of them. Um, so for me, the reason I do what I do or on my free time is because I'm one of those people who learns from mistakes. I will never get it right the first time. I will ask a billion questions and, I'm okay with that. So I am all about imperfectionism. I am all about, ask me why 1,000 times because I love explaining everything. I don't know if it's the way my mind works, but I want to know the process of everything. So that kind of goes into why I'm going as operations management. I just want to know why things work with the background of everything. I want my fingers in everything. I want all the hats I can wear just so I can be involved. So that goes into, I started my own business. I went back to school. I'm very big into community resources and helping out the community. Coming from a single mom, immigrant, first generation person, I don't know if it's too much to share. When I was 23 years old, I was in a DUI accident that was extremely life changing for me in the worst and best way possible. without getting too much into detail, I hit somebody in their car. Thank God, you know, they walked away with no injuries. I was in the hospital for 3 months with broken legs, ankles, removed a piece of my small intestine, piece of my liver, messed me up, right? But walking away from that just opened up my eyes. I had to look at what my life was, who am I hanging out with, what are my priorities, not lying to family, putting friends and going out first, right? So changing all those things to where I have a savings account, I have a dog, a family, a fiance, a house, everything has changed because I've been honest with myself and who I am. So what for me being a leader is and why I do things outside of work is because I want to show other people you can mess up too. You can do things your own way at your own time and still be a great leader. I'm not saying I'm the best leader. I'm not saying that I'm the best person in the world and I will never make a mistake again. That's not true at all. I make them every day. Ask my fiance, you
That's
know.
pretty good.
But I just want people to know that we're all the same and you can always keep improving yourself. It's never too late to focus on yourself. Some lady graduated, I think SNHU like over 80. So keep working on us.
That is very true. Yes, we've had several graduates who are a little bit older than even me, which is really saying something. So, for all of our panelists, I'm interested to understand, with such an active life outside of school, an active extracurricular life at school, and an active life in the classroom, how the heck are you balancing? How are you juggling all of these competing priorities?
Well, it's definitely not easy, especially I can say for myself, I am not a mom. I do not have children, but I imagine having a full family at home also takes a lot of your time. So it's very hard to juggle so many things at once. For me, one thing that helps, I like to be very organized. I need to have a calendar that is like scheduled at least a month in advance. I need to have a checklist every day. I need to have everything that I need to do scheduled in blocks of time. So I make sure every day to make time for my classes. I maintain a 3.9 GPA, which I'm very proud of. I also make a block of time during the day to spend with my family and my personal time. It's very important to make sure you do make time for yourself because we are the first ones we put aside most of the time because it's all right. I don't need to make time for myself today. This is more important. While actually the most important thing is yourself. You first have to think of you and then everything else comes afterwards. Because if you are not okay, if you are not taken care of, anything else afterwards won't be taken care of as well as you'd like them to be taken care of. So you want to always make time for yourself and not overdo. So you don't, if something is very important, you then put it in a time where you know you have the time for it. So for example, I'm very productive very early in the morning, which is very unfortunate because if I slip in, then that time for me is gone. So I won't be as productive any other time during the day. But I know for sure that I am so very productive between 6 and 8 a.m. So I will put in that block of time every task that I think it's extremely hard for me. So all my heavy projects, all my heavy assignments, all my heavy anything in your life that you have to do. Maybe you have to get ready for something for a kid's school. You have to get ready for a job assignment that you are very like, waiting for to get it done because it's like way too much. You want to put it in a block of time where you know you are focused and you have the time for it. And then you escalate to the easier tasks from there. Lauren, do you have any other advice to add to that?
What's balance? Um, I am still always trying to figure out how to balance things. So one of the great things about SNHU is I don't think it's usually probably kind of frowned upon, but we open our classes to view 2 weeks ahead. So I have a lot of anxiety. So I like to work 2 weeks ahead. You can't turn anything in 2 weeks ahead. But this gives you wiggle room. This gives you the opportunity to, so a lot of times you can listen to your books. This may work for a lot of people that can like just work better auditorily. So when you're doing something, you're picking up your house, you're doing the laundry, you're giving your kids bath, listen to your book. Okay. So that helps, pull it out a week ahead. If you have time and you can do your assignment, save it. Save it so you're ready. I do it so in case my kids come down with the flu and I am on a time crunch. That gives my brain a little extra wiggle room. Um, to deal with everything that comes with life. Um, it does take on more when you decide to run a club. Um, running a club is a lot of work, but it's very, very rewarding, and it helps you really feel plugged in to the SNHU community, which is really important because there's students out there struggling just like you are. They're wondering how to manage with kids. They're wondering how to manage with work. It's a lot of work to be an adult learner. Um, Budget your time. Do not wait till Sunday to do your home. I just that works for some people. Um, I don't know how because I am the absolute opposite of a procrastinator. If it's on my list, I want it off immediately. So I get it done. But there's a lot of people that do it Sunday at 11 p.m. Um, so just find what works for you and kind of work within that and know your limitations and know your schedule. I have a giant whiteboard that has all my stuff on it. You can barely see the white, but I know what I'm doing that day. I hope that answered some of the questions. Brian.
Yeah. So for me, it's definitely a bit of what both of you said. Uh, Balancing your time doesn't always mean everything gets equal time. It's not, a third of your time goes to work, a third of your time goes to family, a third of your time goes to school. For me, it's just it things need to be more intentional. If I'm gonna spend time with my family, I'm gonna make it intentional, not give them spare 5 minutes. I'll dedicate an evening to them, right? Or dedicate my time to work, but it's basing everything around and planning ahead. Really, it's just communicating as well. I think that's a huge thing. You really need that support system. If you don't have one, SNHU is here for you. Contact me, contact anyone. We're here to help you manage your time too. And join those groups on SNHUconnect. They'll help you out and ask any question you want. Someone will respond. If not, SEC is there to help respond too. So yeah, I communicate with my family. I communicate with work. For instance, this is 9:30 for me. So I went to work at midnight so I could be off in time for this. So it's just rearranging schedules, making sure things work, giving yourself grace when things aren't perfect. You miss you're late or something, you're running tardy, you're just tired. It's okay to be tired and do nothing sometimes. And that was something I struggled with. Damn, I just wasted a whole day. That's okay. You got to rehab yourself. You got to feel better or else everything goes to poop. Some weeks school takes priority, other weeks work takes priority, family does. So for me, I have in my mental schedule, Tuesdays, I'll pull up, my bright space and look at, okay, here's the agenda for the week. I have a discussion due Thursday. Can I knock it out right now? Boom. At least I know my discussions are done. Then maybe Friday comes around, I have a little bit of free time. I'll start looking at the assignments so that I give myself a couple days, or maybe people have also answered the discussions now, so I can respond to those. And now I have my 2 responses in. So it's just making sure you delegate and you dedicate intentional time. That's kind of how I've succeeded.
Let me add to what the three panelists have said as an instructor here. One of the things that I so value that my students do is reach out, is communicate when life is getting in the way of school. And I can't speak for every instructor here, but certainly for many, right? If we get a little bit of proactive communication, if we get a heads up, hey, right, my dog is in the hospital, or my grandma needs a trip to Whole Foods, that's cool, great. Like, we will do our best to try and support you. But we need to know before something is due, definitely instead of after that thing was due. So Liv, help me out here.
I just wanted to add on that about the communication because I have an awesome tip that I've been trying to spread around, but it never like sticks around for some reason. But it has helped me in ways that I cannot even describe. So reaching out to your instructor is so important for so many reasons, especially when you do need the help. But I also want to advise everybody to reach out to your advisor just in general. So what I do, since we get our classes 2 weeks in advance, at least a week before, I go throughout the syllabus and the class itself, and then I write an email to my instructor about like, so for example, English is my third language, so that's a thing that comes up in all of my classes because most of the time I will need to send emails to ask for help or just like for can you explain this to me better, or if is this right or wrong? In any way, I send this email, and it's always the same where I tell them that English is my third language, so sometimes I might need some help. Then I ask questions that are always asked in each class because each instructor is different. So sometimes some instructors want I don't know, citations for your discussion posts, which is not something that everybody wants. Some instructors don't want you to use the questions in your papers. Some instructors do. So what I made a list of like very specific questions that I ask in each class. So that not only answers all the questions that I will have throughout the course, but it also introduces me to the instructor. So that person then when goes to see my papers, goes to grade my work, he knows me as a person. He knows a little bit about myself. So it becomes more of a human connection than just like another name on his list of students because every instructor has so many students. So he won't ever like have a face for each and every one of them. That helps you put your face on your work and papers. That was it.
Liv, since you brought it up, let's talk about advisors. Let's talk about instructors. Specifically, what's the benefit of reaching out to your academic advisor? Why is it important to pick up the phone when that person is calling you or that person is sending you an email?
Well, since I just talked quite a lot, I will let Lauren answer first. Maybe I'll go last on this one.
About advisors? I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I was reading the chat.
Yeah, I know we've got a lot going on in the chat. We're gonna bounce back to some of those questions in a moment. But what is the benefit to answering the phone call when your advisor calls you each week, or responding to that email that the advisor sends to you?
Well, I mean, you also need to make sure that you're an active participant in your education. So, I mean, you have a lot more say about classes and stuff. I mean, I feel like some people are just like, I let my advisor do their thing and they check in. But you're an active participant. I was probably my advisor's nightmare. Because like the first term, I was like, here's a list of every class I would like to take and when I would like to take it. And then I corrected it 3 times. So, God bless her for dealing with me through all that. But it's important. And I mean, it makes you feel like there's somebody else that's invested in you just as much as you are. So that it's an important asset, and they're going to be the one that you reach out to for questions. If you have kind of a tough professor, there's somebody to lean on, somebody to ask advice for. They're going to be a valuable asset, and just remember that you're able to have a say in your education too, and that's going to make you feel more in control of the situation. But I'm incredibly neurotic, so poor woman.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what has been said. For me, it's use that resource for sure. Coming from, I went to a school here close by, but it was known as a commuter school, where you went in person. This was in 2011. So online school wasn't really a thing yet. But going from a counselor or student advisor that I went through like 3 or 4 of them in the 2 years I was there. And they didn't know who you were. They didn't know what you were taking. They'd have to look you up every time. There was no real connection to, Samantha Isaacson's my advisor. I can tell you her name. I couldn't tell you a single name of the other advisors I ever had in my life. To getting, I think those monthly, every 2 weeks, I'll get a phone call, and I kind of do look forward to them. How's school going? How's everything? Do you need anything from me? To even I had to fight a grade one time because I had submitted an assignment and there was an issue with it, and the teacher kind of refused to listen to me. And she helped me out with that process, and helped change the grade. So I, am super for advisors. You should reach out to them all you can. You feel like, I don't know how many students she probably has, but yet she knows to ask, are you married yet? So, there is some connection. They do know you, they do remember you, and you can, kind of how you said, they can change classes for you. There was a term where I was only going to be able to register for one because I'm getting to that point where classes kind of fill up. And she somehow made it happen, put me on a wait list, asked for the class to grow, and then I was able to register as a full student. So, she is jumping through fire rings for me and help. They are there to help you. So I'm all for them.
Thank you all. Patricia in the chat said that their advisor doesn't do much or doesn't do that, and that Patricia rarely hears from her advisor. What do you do in a situation like that? If you've ever had an experience like that, or you know of another student who has?
So I would definitely go back to the communication part. So when I first met my advisor, she still is very awesome. Like we spent like a half hour just talking about arts and crafts because we had that in common. And she will like check in on me very often and reach out every time my grades were going low. So for me, for example, I need help with choosing my classes and make sure I graduated at the time that I set for myself. So she helped me out with that. But I didn't want her to reach out to me as often because I'm doing good in classes and I don't think I that helps me very much. But I also know many students that have the opposite problem where their advisor does not check on them at all or just very rarely. So what I learned is that the communication is key. So your advisor might not know you need that. They might not know what kind of support you need because every student is different and has different needs. So what I did at the beginning, I told my advisor, hey, I very much appreciate all the effort you're putting into reaching out to me. I would really appreciate if, you will slow that down. I do not feel like it's necessary. I will definitely reach out to you when I need help. And I think that goes both ways. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I think it would be beneficial for my academic journey to hear more often from you. I think I need somebody to check in on me and see if I'm doing good, if I need any help, because that helps me as a student. And that's kind of what I came up with, but definitely open to any other suggestions for Ryan. Brian, did you have any different experiences?
Um, I've had two advisors. They probably reached out to me kind of about the same amount, which it's probably not as much as they reach out to other people. But again, I'm very neurotic. So I was like, this is what I got going. I'm all set. Like, I'll let you know when you're needed. Um, if I remember correctly, I do believe that if you have a really big problem with your advisor, that maybe you can request another one. I don't know that for sure, but I think so. And advisors
That's
are
correct,
like
Lauren.
any other people. They're like counselors. You just need to find the one that works for you. And communication is key. Liv is right about that.
Yeah, and just to add on, I know like Samantha will go on vacation and I will get like a, hey, I'll be out of office. If you respond to that email while they're on vacation, someone will respond to your email or even with a phone call. Say for some reason something's going on, I've had to call while she's been on vacation or out of office. Another advisor will look into your case, can help you out, so just because maybe your advisor is not working out, don't hesitate to call that number or send that email because maybe somebody else will have a better connection and help you out still. So yeah, there is a way. I know it sounds bad, but it's two ways. We we got to care about our education. That's why we're here. And if you put that effort out, they will help you.
Yep. It's not always a love connection. That's okay. And that's why there's a process. If you need a new advisor, there's an ability to get one. Earlier in the chat, there was a question around where do you find the energy? How do you find the ability to do all of these things, right? If school were it, that would already require a ton of energy to be able to do. But if you're schooling and you're familying and you are working and you are, name the other things, it's a lot to balance, and it eats up a lot of energy. So how are you finding the ability to be able to do all of this?
I can. Are you gonna jump in, Liv?
I was
Okay.
about to say, actually, I know, I actually was about to say, I think Lorraine might have a better answer to this than I could come up with.
Okay. Okay. So I was responding in the chat earlier, and I'm just gonna say it out loud too, because it's especially hard if you're a parent. I mean, it really just adds another layer to it because it is very hard to balance work. It's very hard to balance school. Um, but generally, that doesn't add the guilt that you feel as a parent when you have to say, I'm sorry, sweetie, like I'm trying to finish this assignment. I'm going to need more time. And you're going to have that guilt. But I promise it is not forever. School is not forever. I know you're missing out on things, and it's really just about striking that balance. And you're going to college to better yourself and better it for them. Um, so just kind of keep that in mind that like there's an end game. There's a reason why you did this. And it's going to be very hard for a while, but it's not forever. So maybe you always kept a clean house and your laundry was always done. And now like you're just not finding the time and and you're feeling guilty. You're feeling terribly, terribly guilty that you can't maintain the level that you did before. And that's okay. You have to let things go. Um, and it's not forever. I had to let a lot of things go, and I struggled a lot with that. And my son was 3 or 4 when I started, so it was a very hard time. And he's on the spectrum, so he requires, he's not nonverbal or anything, but he does require a lot more attention. So it's a very hard thing to navigate, but it's not forever. And like the flight attendants tell you, put on your oxygen mask first because you're going to be of no help. So make sure you're taking that time for yourself too. Don't just, drop that off like Liv was saying, like I can take care of me later. You can't because you're going to burn out. So just even if you got to give like 60% in all aspects of your life for a while to have the extra energy, do that 60%. Someday you'll get back to 100%. It's not forever. I don't know if that was helpful at all, but that's the only way I can calm it in my brain.
I
Uh,
think that was very helpful, at least in my
yeah.
opinion. And if I can add to that, actually, one thing that I don't have children, so I definitely am like in a different spot from Lorraine and from many of you here. But one thing that helps me, among many others, is setting goals. So having a goal that drives me to do all these things, right? So what I wanted when I started was graduate, find a job, stable income, buy a house, and then start a family. My full goal is achieving all of these goals one at a time. But it's very hard when you have like a very high goal. So you want to set goals, smaller goals that will take you to that bigger goal. So for me, I want to be an excellent president. So I do everything in order to be a good president for my club, a good leader for my members, and be a good friend to anybody around that needs help. So that doing those little steps help me reach out the bigger goal. And the bigger goal then adds up to the extra bigger goal at the end, and that determination and like focus definitely gives me more energy, because if I didn't have like an end goal, I would think like, okay, what's the sense of me spending all this time doing something that I'm not paid for, most of the time I'm not recognized for, and like it's just like something that I want to do. Is not because somebody else told me to do it. So it's just like, okay, so I'm doing it because I am trying to reach something bigger for myself. It's my own determination and my own focus that will keep me doing the things that I'm doing.
I'm going to flash up on the screen real quickly a resource that may be of benefit to many of our students. I'm seeing some head nods here. So I'm wondering if any of our panelists might be able to talk about Mantra and why it's of benefit to our students.
So I've never personally used it, but I do know about it. So Mantra is going to be, you know, pretty much like a help resource, a therapy, a mental, resource for if you're having a rough time, if you need help with a situation that you're feeling overwhelmed, depressed, anything really. It's for a resource for them, to say help. It's confidential. If you get those text alerts, what I just learned is that say, hey, Brian, how's your class going this week? If you respond with a two bad or, whatever number it says bad, and it says, are you feeling overwhelmed? And you say yes. If you go through the steps and you respond as someone who's not okay in any way, they will send you a link to Mantra. They will connect you to a resource. I'm not sure if it goes to the extent of automatically knowing to call you, but that help is there. You can just, it's a quick link and a phone number, and you can connect with someone very quickly. So this is for everyone in SNHU. If you're having any issues at all, and say you don't feel comfortable sharing with your peers, anyone in a club, you can reach out to an unknown person and they will help you out through whatever you have going on.
Yeah, if you call this 833 number, you're going to get connected to a live human who is a licensed, credentialed mental health practitioner who can support you with counseling, with coaching. There are resources through the website that can help identify basic needs supports as well. There's a whole library of well-being resources. So it is a very valuable support that we have at the university that is available to all of you for no cost at all. You do not need insurance in order to use it, to talk to somebody, and you will not pay out of pocket to use the resource as well. So important. We'll make sure that that phone number also gets posted in the chat as well. We are in our waning minutes right now, and so I want to ask the panel really, really quickly if you could give yourself, when you were starting at SNHU, a piece of advice, right? What would that advice be? What is that tip or what is that trick?
For me, it would be patient. When I first started, I wanted to fly through my degree. I wanted to do it as fast as possible. I started taking extra classes and like filling up my day with like so many assignments and homework. There was like a lot because I wanted to do it as fast as possible. And then 1 year in my degree, in that year, I cut my time at SNHU by 1 year. So like in 1 year, I did 2 years. It was like a lot. And then I became a member of the Student Engagement Council. I became involved in various clubs and organizations, and I started meeting people. I created a community around me. I met so many amazing people. One of them, Lauren, she was my mentor. That's why all the love in the chat, guys. And now I'm graduating in like 2 months, and I'm like, I want more. I want to stay longer. I want to keep this interaction. I want to be part of this community longer. And a little bit of regret that I moved so fast. While I am very grateful for everything I've learned, all the people I've met, and I'm very excited to take the next step in my life. I am excited about my internship. I am excited about getting a real job afterwards. I'm excited to move to the next part of my life, I wish I would have spent more time enjoying what I was doing at the moment. And I know that sounds odd because you're like, well, it's cool. Nobody enjoys it that much. And while I understand that, classes might be hard and it's a lot on top of everything else have in your life, I assure you that once you are done and you are in the real world, you will be missing that time and the feeling of being part of not just an academic journey, but of like a huge community that supports you in any way possible.
Yes, Liv. Definitely pace yourself. It is a marathon, not a sprint. And I did not immediately find the SNHU community. I don't know how it kind of slipped through the cracks there, but I wish I had found it sooner because it honestly, like, I know I talk about clubs a lot and like you'd think I was a paid promoter, but I'm honestly not. Um, Finding the clubs and the SNH community was it was completely life-changing because being an online student is incredibly isolating, okay? Um, you feel like you're doing it alone, you're not sure you're doing it right, things might be a little confusing. A lot of us are adult learners who are managing all this other stuff, and it can be overwhelming. And I mean, in regular life, you get your friends to vent to, but it is so important to find that community because these clubs, they offer a bunch of different things for a bunch of different interests and hobbies, and some help your career, but it's just all these other students are building this community with you. These are these people that you would be sitting next to in your ethics class. Should this have been I mean, just connect. I mean, that's what's going to help you feel like a part of SNHU. I mean, it can say SNHU on your bright space, but you're not going to feel SNHU inside unless you're connecting to the community and other students. It's so, so important. So please, please look into Connect. You don't have to join my club. There's plenty of other clubs. I promise, and we're all happy to have any one of you. So look into the community. It's truly life-changing. Brian.
I apologize in advance if you hear snoring. My Frenchie's right here breathing normal. Um, but yeah, literally exactly what Lauren and Olivia said. My biggest regret, I've been at SNHU about a year and a half now, and for the last 3 or 4 months, something switched in my head and said, you know what, let me reach out to SEC. Let me look at SNHUconnect. Um, and I feel like I should have done it sooner. I took SNHU as an online school. You're separated, you're distant. It's all the way in New Hampshire. I'm in California. Who do I really need to talk to? Who do I really need to connect to? I'm never going to meet these people. But at the same time, you're kind of missing out on that piece. This is still college, guys. You're still going to get a degree. This is still the college experience, whether we're 18, 19 coming out of high school or I'm in my 30s or older. We're in college. We're here. We're doing it. Let's take the advantage and live it to the fullest. So I just say get in there, get involved if you can. Don't spread yourself thin. You know, I can be in SEC. I can be in other groups on SNHUconnect. I can manage my time now that I've done it for a year. If you're first starting out, maybe join one, get the feel of it, get the feel of classes. But once you feel capable, I fully endorse joining all the groups you can manage, right? And it's such a great feeling, kind of what the lady said. It's just great to go on there and see everyone's messages and liking your comments, relating to you. Oh my gosh, I had the same experience. Who has this class? Connecting with people in your class, because we'll never get that. We'll never get sitting next to someone, copying homework, cheating off tests, studying with people. We don't get that. So this is that next best thing, just making connections, and you do make friends. I have people in SNHUconnect that I look forward to seeing their responses because they're always responding on my comments. And so then I go, let me see what they got to say. And I like and comment right back, right? So you'll find some people, you'll make connections. So just get in there. Don't hesitate. That's my thing.
Well, that is a fantastic place to end. So, on behalf of all of us here today, thank you so much, Brian. Thank you, Loren. Thank you, Liv. We're so, so grateful for you giving so much of your time for today's panel. In a moment, my friend Michaela is going to drop some amazing resources in the chat so that you can, oh, look, she is so good. So that you have some great information about upcoming events, how to get into SNHUconnect, and who to reach out to here in the Office of Student Involvement should you have additional questions. I'm also going to ask my friends on the panel today if they feel comfortable. Please, by all means, feel free to drop your email into the chat and invite the students who are here today to be able to engage with you that way too. As a heads up, we are going to be giving away some free SNHU swag, and Michaela is going to be popping into SNHUconnect into the SNHU. Where are we going, Michaela? Where are we going to drop that within SNHUconnect?
We will be dropping that into, we'll be dropping that into the SNHU events page on SNHUconnect.
And there's going to be a great question there that Michaela is going to put in there, and we will be drawing some random winners of some SNHU giveaways. If you pop on into SNHUconnect, go into the SNHU events channel, you can respond to the post that Michaela is dropping there, and within the next week, we will be drawing some winners of the swag. So, thank you all so very much for your time. We are so grateful to have had you all join us today, and we hope to see you in SNHUconnect, engaging with one another, and hopefully winning some great giveaways. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day, and keep on keeping on. Take care.
Have a great day, guys. Bye.